If you've ever wondered what kind of hammer to use for a specific project or how to repair stripped out wood, here's a couple tips for you. All right guys, in today's pro tip, we're gonna talk hammers. And there's a lot of different things to think about when looking at hammers. You know, we're all very familiar with this traditional Stanley 16 ounce, the time-tested old hammer. And this has got a wood or a hickory handle, and of course, just a regular bent claw tip. It's your traditional hammer, but there's a lot of different things to look at when you're looking at hammers. We're talking about putting just regular nails in. We look at the head here to see what it is. For finish work, you're gonna see a smooth end on it here. Now, when we get into framing, a framing hammer like this old one right here, which is a much bigger hammer, this has this kind of waffle head on the end, and that's actually there just so when you hit the nail, it doesn't slide off. Now, this one here has got decades of use, and with a metal handle, it's one of the different types of hammers. And you know, a hammer is all about what feels good in your hand. What that's supposed to look like, if I look at this lightweight stiletto here, it should have a very aggressive waffle tip on it. But the thing is, if you do finish work with this and you miss, this is gonna ruin the wood you're working on. So that's why they come up with a smooth head on it for doing the finish work. Now, you're seeing a lot of different things on hammers as well. As far as the different things that you can do, there's a magnet right here. So if I want to start it one-handed, I can actually start that nail and do it. But one other thing to consider when you're looking at handles on a hammer is like this one here. It's another 16 ounce, but it's a composite. So it's really going to depend on what you want to do with it and how you use it. Now, a lot of different handles here. Like this one here is a steel shank, but this is a demo hammer. So this is made for just beating things apart. It's got different pullers on it, and it has a claw right here to go around a wood stud so you can twist it and bash it out. This is meant for heavy swinging and breaking things apart. It's not really meant to do finish work. Now, there's a lot of other specialty hammers that you see out there, like this one right here is made for more wood shingles, and so you can split it. It's got a little groove right here for tearing the wood shingle apart. So if you're shingling the side of a house, this is something that you would use, but they're a lot harder, and this is a really old one here. There's a lot better ones now that have sharpenable blades and stuff in it. This is pretty old school. Now, the other thing is there's a big theory out there between light and heavy hammers. Like this one here is super light, it's 14. If I got into a framing hammer that was gonna be a full one of the full weight, it's gonna be 28 ounces. So you start to get a lot heavier. So there's a real big belief about whether it's a heavy hammer or a light hammer. It's up to you. Now, when you're using a hammer as well, you want to place your hand towards the end down here. A lot of people will start out here to get control, but really, this is where it's meant to be right here. You want to have your hand right at the end so you get the most force out of it. There's a lot to do with hammers here in the last one. Let's get into ball peen hammer. This is meant for working with metal. You're not supposed to really put nails in with this, but if I'm gonna be forming metal work, or if I wanna put the dimples in it to really shape something, this is a metal working hammer, and that's what you should be using it for. The one safety thing is use the right hammer for the job. If you were to work on some of these framing hammers on metal, like with an anvil, they can break apart and hurt you, so be very careful. Lots to do about hammers, but most of the time, it's about what feels good in your hand and what you're comfortable using. All right, guys, in today's pro tip, we're gonna talk about stripped out screws in wood. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes you over tighten things and it won't hold, and now you've got a loose screw. And you don't have to go to a bigger screw, because then it just ends up looking ugly. So I'm gonna show you how to fix it today. First off, the answer, toothpicks and some glue, but let me show you how to do that. First, I'm gonna start out with good yellow glue. Now, this is the part of this that takes a little patience because you have to let the glue dry out. So it's not gonna be one of those things. I'm gonna fill this up, get the glue to come out, get as much in there as I can. And then I'm gonna use the toothpicks to jam that down through the hole. So I'm gonna do that, get my knife, cut this off. Get those smooth so that way I've got something really good to work with here as that dries up. Now I have to wait for that to dry. If you're in a hurry, like I always am, I start out with the same toothpicks, but I'm gonna go in and grab my super fast glue stuff. This is like the super glue with the hardener. So I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna dry test these first to make sure I have the right amount in, because I've only got a couple seconds to do this. Because if you remember when we did the molding, it sets up super quick. So I'm gonna take this, and then I'm gonna coat this with this glue. Make sure I get enough on here. And then I'm gonna take this activator, get that ready to go here. I'm gonna get this lined up, and then I'm gonna spray it and slide it into the hole really quickly. Give that about 5 seconds to hold up. Now, that's got all nice and set up. So I'm gonna come in here. You can use a chisel, you can use a knife, whatever works. But I tell you what, this is set up. Now I can take my screw, and it's that easy, and you're good to go. That's how you fix a stripped out screw in wood.